News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and now 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Voices were heard both for and against the gun control ordinance at a city council meeting last night. Good morning, everyone. It's Montana Morning. It's Tuesday, October 20th, 2015. I want to say thanks to John King for filling in for me for Friday and yesterday. Really appreciate it. Right now, it's 45 degrees under an overcast sky in western Montana. Our newscast this morning is sponsored by Kootenai Creek Village. They're the maintenance-free active adult community in Stevensville where they offer the best of western Montana living. Well, it was a packed house in the Missoula City Council chambers last night for a public hearing over the proposed background check ordinance for gun ownership and transfers within the city limits. Following are comments from Moms Demand Action supporting the ordinance, and a representative from the National Rifle Association opposed.
Since this ordinance was introduced, we've been out talking to people, and we've gathered almost 1,200 signatures on a petition supporting the ordinance. And we have support from a large number of community leaders who signed a letter that you have received in support of background checks.
You see, the killer in Oregon purchased his firearm from a licensed dealer after undergoing a background check. Just like in Seattle, Washington, Tucson, Arizona, Virginia Tech, Aurora, Colorado, Fort Hood, Texas, virtually every one of the high-profile mass killings, the deranged individual went through a background check.
In the public comment period, there were voices again, both for and against the ordinance.
I consider background checks to be protection for both the buyer and the seller, because the seller can gain some sense of security that the firearm that you're selling is not going to go to a criminal, which cannot be guaranteed when you sell a firearm at a gun show or a face-to-face transfer.
I find this proposed ordinance highly unlikely to promote behavior change among people with criminal intent. I frankly cannot imagine a circumstance under which a person with violent criminal intent would bother to comply with the city ordinance, which will require a background check.
City Clerk Marty Rabine said before the hearing that 336 comments were received supporting the ordinance, 79 in opposition. The council did not take a vote on the ordinance. A final reading is scheduled for November 2nd, the day before the general election. Missoula Police, and we'll get back to that story in a moment. Missoula Police investigated a suspicious package yesterday that was dropped off at a federal building in downtown Missoula near some mysterious graffiti. Missoula Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh has more.
Before 8 a.m. this morning, a citizen called in a suspicious-looking package that he had observed leaning against the west wall of the federal courthouse downtown here. There appeared to be some writing on the wall next to the package. There was also some type of graffiti on one of the main front glass doors. It's unclear if the graffiti and the package were connected, but Welsh said they appear to have been done around the same time. The message said, quote, "Save Palestine," end quote, and the graffiti on the door looked like a plus sign with two circles underneath and a dot in the bottom circle. We could not determine what the contents were, and so at that point we started taking precautions and isolated the area, began to assess the package to see if we could render it safe, whatever it was. At this point, it's been determined not to be a hazard. The writing on the wall next to it had a message about Palestine. The package is now in the hands of the FBI. The Missoula Bomb Squad was not called out to investigate. However, the area was cordoned off until it was considered to be safe. A Wisconsin court has ordered a firearms retailer to pay two police officers $5.7 million after they were shot with a handgun sold at the Milwaukee area gun store. Some gun dealers are concerned that the decision will lead to a situation where the law holds them responsible for the unpredictable actions of their clients. Selway Armory in Missoula also sells guns in Wisconsin, but owner Travis Linneman said the decision doesn't worry him at all.
The crux of the case is that it was a straw purchase, meaning that the person buying the firearm was not the intended recipient of the firearm, which is illegal. I do believe that not allowing straw purchases is effective gun law, and that this is just an example of the enforcement of the law as it's supposed to be. It doesn't speak to we need more gun laws. We need to properly enforce our current gun laws. Linneman said his business has had to refuse purchases before because of suspicious activity. So as far as straw purchases go, we've had them in our Missoula shop before. We had a gentleman looking at a firearm. He then puts the firearm down, walks outside, his daughter comes in, picks up the firearm and says, I want to buy this. Even if it was, in fact, for her, just because of the body language and the way it was saying, we err on the side of caution that you can't purchase a gun.
In the case in Wisconsin, Julius Burton fired on police, but Burton was too young at the time to buy the weapon. He was able to obtain it with the help of 28-year-old Jacob Collins. And staying with that same topic, last night Missoula City Council heard from hundreds of opponents and supporters of an expanded background check ordinance. The ordinance would require background checks at gun shows, but chair of the Missoula Gun Show, Hayes Autopalik, says he has no doubts about how the ordinance will impact his show.
Well, it's going to eliminate the Missoula Gun Show because you only have a few dealers in Missoula. Most collectors are just Montana residents that come to the show. Those people do not have licenses. I mean, they're stating that collector's items are removed, but antique guns is 1898 and before, so all firearms 117 years of age and newer are modern-day guns under the law.
Autopalik said the show's never been a problem with Missoula Police or the Missoula Sheriff's Office and has been almost no interest to any federal agency.
As the chairman of the Missoula Gun Show, in 47 years that I've been involved in it, the ATF has never visited the Missoula Gun Show over the problem of the sale of a gun. The United States Border Patrol was there once. The Office of Homeland Security, they have never been there.
Even before the council meeting, groups like Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America had urged supporters to contact local officials. City Councilor Adam Hertz, who may be calling in later this morning, said he received more than 30 emails just yesterday morning, many of which were simply carbon copies of one pro-ordinance letter. Our News Talk time now is 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Low clouds and fog this morning with a few isolated showers early in the day. Partly to mostly cloudy this afternoon with our highs in the upper 50s. Lows tonight drop back into the mid-30s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.
All right, thanks, Brooke. Right now the sky is overcast and we have 45 degrees in Missoula. And this portion of Montana Morning brought to you by our friends at Paradise Falls, where you'll find a full menu of breakfast, lunch, and dinner specialties. They open the doors at 7. Might want to start things out with some Eggs Benedict or maybe their island-style French toast. Ooh, good stuff. On the banks of Brooks. Coming up in just a moment, Montana sports. The Grizz rise to number 19 in the poll, and they didn't have to do anything to get there. We'll get details coming up in just a moment.
At Trail West Bank, our core values are summed up in one word: relationship.